But now we got the leverage on it. But
hello, everybody. How you doing? It's Gus Tucker, and we're here again on Financial Freedom Friday. And I want to welcome you to the show. Make sure you share the show with those that you know who might be interested in what we're talking about. And as I said, our goal here on Financial Freedom Fridays is to inform, equip, and enable you to reach your financial freedom. And we're going to focus on three areas. One is your personal financial strategies, so that you're doing the right things with your money to get the right outcomes. The second thing we're going to talk about is entrepreneurial strategies, so that you can build a business. And we're encouraging everyone, you ought to own a business. If you work in a job, you need to be an entrepreneur within your job. They call that intrapreneuring. But you also need to have a business outside of your job. Thirdly, we're going to talk about education on equity investing in equities, which will help you drive your financial freedom as well. Today, we're focused on number 2, entrepreneurship strategies. And we have as a guest, Mr. Johnny Stewart, who is an innovator in Los Angeles, who has started something called the Black Unicorn Factory. He's innovating a different way of helping people who are entrepreneurs grow their businesses, scale them, eventually to take them public. And so welcome, Mr. Stewart. Give him a virtual welcome to the show. And Johnny, quick question for you. Who are you targeting with the Black Unicorn Factory? What's the target market for people to be involved in the Black Unicorn Factory?
the underserved. You see, there's a community of startups that are completely underserved. And by me saying that, there's not a shortage of capital out there for small businesses. If you were to go to a website called formds.com, it's FORMDS.com, and you were just to look in your local area, like whatever local area you're in the United States. If you type there, you will see all the venture capital that's being invested into startups, literally hundreds of millions of dollars. And people think there's a shortage. There's not. But you'll find that on that list, less than 1% of 1% is being invested into African American and brown businesses. So there's no shortage of money, just a shortage of access. So our focus is to give access, the access to those that are underserved in the community, which are the Black and brown community. Now, of course, we're not just only serve them, because, the Black Unicorn, we love all God's children, and we want them to understand, but our people are at the tip of this spear. So we want to start with those that are in the greatest need first. And if there was some other that was in greatest need, we would start there. But that's our focus right there.
That makes sense. And I know that I'm doing some work in that area. That's another topic for another day. But there's $5 trillion being invested in venture capital a year. And less than 3% goes to Black, brown, and women-owned companies. And that's a huge issue. And so what are some of the innovations that the Black Unicorn Factory uses to help people that may not have the startup capital
right now, what we have to do is to make startup businesses more attractive for investing. And like I said, there are a lot of investors who have a lot of money and they want to invest, but some of the ideas are not attractive. What we've done is we've said, what is the most attractive thing right now out there in the entrepreneurial world that's attractive to an investor? And I'll tell you what it is. It's a unicorn. Any company that becomes a unicorn is capable of a return on the investment of being 1,000 times the return on your investment. I state that as a fact because everyone who in America who knows about Shark Tank knows that there are 4 hosts on that show. One of the 4 hosts is named Robert Herjavec. Robert Herjavec is from Australia, but he has a website called Angels and Entrepreneurs Network. On his network, he tells you if you want to get 1,000 times your money, they call it the 1000X formula, that you need to invest in a unicorn. What we do at the Black Unicorn Factory is we're able to infuse enough of what we call human capital into your business so that you will become what everyone is looking for. You see, when you are something that an investor is more interested in profit than he is about your product, believe it, he is. And when he can see that his return on investment is 1,000 times his return, his money put in, you're the most attractive thing on the market. Now, I could put money into flipping real estate or Bitcoin, but I'm not exactly sure if I can get 1,000 times my money. But this is a for sure fact that this is what they're making in a minimum. So if you look at angelsandentrepreneursnetwork.com, Neil Patel, a serial entrepreneur and millionaire, and Robert Herjavec are making a point of fact and saying this is what your return is going to be. So I challenge people all the time. Can you find anything out there that makes 1,000 times your money back? But what our job is we can take any business model and turn it into a unicorn. And that's very different, because one gentleman asked me the other day to explain the process of becoming a unicorn. I said, well, if we take a crowd of millions of social media followers and we convert them into social media investors and we insert them into your business, there's something innovative that takes place. Your business now has 25 additional streams of revenue, 25 times more profitable than it was before we came. Most startups are only one or two streams. That's all they are. But if I were to add 25 streams, I've just transformed your business model into a very lucrative business model. And the more streams of revenue you have, the more attractive you are to an investor. Okay, so that's we want you to look more attractive in order to attract the capital. And yeah, so we can do it.
As I understand, and looking at the and talking to you and looking at the Black Unicorn Factory website, you want people to be tech entrepreneurs. That means their business is going to be on an app. Is that correct?
That's correct. And nowadays, just about everybody's tech, to be honest. Because in order for you to reach the mobile community, the global network of mobile cellular network, you're going to have to turn around and make your app, your website is going to have to be mobile accessible. Yep. So you're going to have to convert it into a web app or an app of some sort. So that's one of the things you have to consider. So every business today is becoming tech. And those, it's like saying if you don't have a website, you're really not in business today. Well, if you're not a website and have ability to be on a phone, you're not really in business. Every single business can become tech. You can convert any brick and mortar business into tech easily. Okay. And that's why I said most everyone is.
And so those users that you're bringing to that company, they're hitting that app on a regular basis, and the 25 streams of income are coming from their traffic on that app. Is that what it's?
Yes. Well, what we're doing is we're doing a partnership between your company, the company that you currently have, and social media investors. It's kind of like Wall Street meets social media. When the two of you come together as partners in business, your business is transformed into a money-making juggernaut, because the crowd, for one, is capable of 25 streams of revenue. This is what we teach at the Black Unicorn Factory. So you'll become more profitable. In addition to the crowd coming in, according to rules of investing and the SEC, you become unicorn $1 billion in status. So you're more profitable, more valuable, all at the same time. The other thing that the crowd adds into your company when we combine the two of you together inside of an app, and let me just state the reason why we're saying inside of an app. You see, it's hard to take 1 million people and put them on a website. We can't. How do we do that? But we can bring 1 million people and put them into an app, because see, an app can give you a connection. It's like a platform, a network connection of you and the users. If you go to the App Store right now and you look at an app, it'll tell you how many people are using that app. It'll tell you right now. Now, when we take your company and we put 1 million people into your company, they're connected to the app. And when you talk to your partners, you have a push notification that when you give one message to one, you talk to all million at the same time. So it's a network. We're in a world, Gus, where the world is full of networks. An app is nothing but a network. Every business that's in the street right now is nothing but a network. So therefore, at the Black Unicorn Factory, I teach how to build a network. And the networks are really the tech companies. But every person in society today is either going to work for a network or be a network, because that's what everything is. Every large company, from Microsoft to Amazon to Google, all of those are nothing but networks. And when you form a corporation, you're actually starting the platform of a network. All we're doing is taking your application and turn it into, or excuse me, we're going to take your corporation and turn it into an application. And then we're going to take the shareholders and make them part of the app. So it's kind of a merger between corporation and application. But overall, when you include a crowd of followers that became social media investors, you've completely transformed the profitability and value of your company instantly. If I can use an example real quick, I want to explain something. If the average man today, they say, can run about 5.9 miles per hour. That's, they say, the average man. The average man can lift about 150 pounds. They say can bench press. Just an average man. But if I were to give him 25 times the power of his average strength, he would be able to run 150 miles an hour. And you ever see a man run 150 miles an hour? No. Then he would be able to lift 2 tons. So you can imagine, we're taking an average person's business and putting a crowd into you. And what does that do to you? It just made you 25 times stronger, more profitable. And what does it excite? What excites a venture capitalist is knowing that the business has multiple streams of income and will return to him 1,000 times his investment. You can't beat anything like that. So what has happened, Gus, is a lot of Silicon Valley investors, if they know you're going to be the next unicorn, they want to invest in you before you become that. But they have to know, are you going to be the next unicorn? We have the control to do that, because when we insert the crowd, you're a unicorn. And it's very, very simple.
When you say we insert the crowd, what do you mean when you say that?
Well, what we've done is we've recruited celebrities, and which one, Mr. Riley is supposed to appear with us today. We've recruited celebrities who have large fan bases. Most people know today that most influencers can have millions, hundreds of millions of followers, but they're not aware that these followers can be converted into investors. Many celebrities are asleep to the fact that they're actually walking around with a $2 or $3 billion company in their fan base. They just think that there's somebody to sell products to, but they're not. All we had to do was to convert the relationship. That's all. Just to change it. They're still going to be following you. Gus, your crowd is still going to be following you. They're still going to love you. But if we convert the relationship into every follower that's watching this channel, and we turn them into an investor, you've just created a $100 million business with 25 streams of revenue. Most influencers have no idea the billions that they're walking around with. They have no idea. What our job is to do is to actually approach them and say, hey, look, let me show you. This is why we put together the net wealth calculator. When you go to www.fansworth.com, you can take your favorite celebrity, you can put in the amount of followers they have, and look what type of company they would have if they would converted them. Part of our job is to convert followers. That's it. Fansworth, www.fansworth, because it works better. But here's the thing. You would be surprised how rich these influencers are. There's a website right now that's called Fame Swap. FAM.
Yep.
Yes, Swap.
Yep.
They're literally selling their fan bases.
Yes.
They have no idea that they're selling something worth billions. No idea. I'm like, oh my goodness. I just almost fall off my chair when I see it. But they don't know. And when you don't know the value of an asset, that's why you would end up selling it for practically nothing. And for them asking for a few $1,000s, and they passed along something worth billions, believe me, you're going to have social media investors that are going to buy up those fan bases and convert them. They're going to bring them to us and let us convert them.
Give me an idea of one of the streams of income of the 25 that would
Well,
be generated.
if you there's now look at that. Most people never heard of some of these things, so I want you to kind of research. I'm like
Okay.
that. There's something in the world that's called double click. It's called double click. Double click actually works with Facebook. I mean, with the different advertisers around the world. But let me get to the point. They actually pay a certain amount of money per banner ad that's on your website. Google AdSense. Let me just start with that. Let me be more precise. Google AdSense and Google AdWords actually are free, and if you sign up with them, they will actually put advertisement all over your website for free. So if you go to Google AdSense, they'll do that. Now, if you had a website right now and we went to Google AdSense, we signed up, you come right back and there's ads all over your website. Now, each one of those ads, Gus, pays a certain amount of money. Each time someone comes to your website, that pays a certain amount of money. Some of those ads pay a dime, some pay $25, some pay $1, some pay $2. Some pay as much up to $40 per. But now imagine that we have a crowd, and the crowd was instructed to come by your website and click that banner ad that pays $1. Now, it's nothing for them. It's really nothing. They got an ad, they got a link that popped up on their phone and it said, hey, tap that app. That's all it said, tap that app. All they did was with one finger, they tapped the app. Well, 1 million people tapping that one banner ad was $1 million made. But you got to remember, they're going to tap that app again or on a different ad tomorrow. That's just one stream of revenue. See, if I told them to come to your website, 1 million people every day, don't buy anything, just do a drive-by. That would make you almost $300,000 a month. And they never bought anything. All they did was just drive by. So you have to understand that crowd, if you're giving them enough coordination to do something, they could make millions of dollars a day. Now, is this concept new? No, not at all. Not at all. Because Amazon right now has bought a program that's 15 years old now, and it's called Mechanical Turk. You can look it up. Mechanical Turk has people all over the world tapping apps, doing little surveys and whatever for fractions of a penny. It's called Mechanical Turk. Then you have companies like Click Workers, Micro Workers. These are that have people what we call crowdsourcing every single day for fractions of a penny. But if you apply that same tapping, traffic into an equity strategy, which we call equity crowdsourcing. See, it's crowdsourcing, but it's equity attached to it. When they're in this equity crowdsourcing, where they're now clicking on behalf of the company they have equity in, they're generating capital in all these various ways. So most businesses today, when I look at them, these startups, most of them are what my teachers called putting all your eggs in one basket. Because see, when you're in a business that only has one or two streams of income, that's called putting all your eggs in one basket. And if that basket is affected by COVID, by catastrophe, by different things, that business is basically out of business, and competition could even do that. But if I had 25 additional streams of income, you could hit me with one or two, but it wouldn't affect me as it would some of these others. This is why 90% of the businesses fail. They don't have a backup plan. If you affect their A game, they have no B game. And nowadays you got to have a B game, C game, D game, E game, F game. You got that, and they got to be just as strong as the A game, but most don't have that. So we're trying to say the new model for the future is going to be a fan-built business. You can be in business for yourself, but just not by yourself anymore.
Okay. So tell me this, the underlying business that has the app, how strong does that have to be? I mean, they need to have a product or service that they're actually marketing profitably, correct? I mean, they need to have a real business, right?
You think about it, Gus. Gus, look at this. When you have 1 million people under your control, your business is your people. Most people don't understand that. If I have 1 million people under my control, my business is my people. They're looking around going, what business am I? They're looking around like you haven't looked right in front of you. You have 1 million people under your control, and you're asking what type of person, what type of business am I? You see, the crowd that I have, I'm just talking figuratively. I can employ that crowd to help any business that's out there that's starting up. You have 400,000 new businesses every year starting in America, 400,000. And believe me, 90% of them are going to be needing social media, marketing. They're going to be needing word of mouth. And who can they go to? They can go to Gus. He's got 1 million people. That crowd is so awesome. Let me give you a metrics of how awesome it is. Everyone in America knows about Super Bowl. Super Bowl has a viewership of 111 million people that watch the Super Bowl. It's one of the biggest televised events in an entire year. It's Super Bowl. Now, the Super Bowl charges $5.6 million for 30 seconds, just 30 seconds on the Super Bowl. But let's take a look now what your crowd is able to do. When we insert 1 million people crowd, remember that the average social media user has an average of 300 to 400 followers, the average. So if I had a million people under my control, behind that 1 million people is 300 to 400 million. Now, if I were to say, I want you to put the doctor, the Black Doctor, and I want my 1 million people to just say the word blackdoctor.org. What happens is my frontline 1 million people have 300 to 400 million people behind them. You're very, very famous if they just said your name once. Because what happens is on the internet, there's what is called crawlers, social media aggregators. Every time a name is said, that they gather up how many times someone's name is mentioned across the internet. When your name is said, Black Doctor, 300 million times, they're going to be calling you to be magazine advertising. You've just exposed yourself to a crowd on audience that is 3 times larger than the Super Bowl. And how much did it cost you? Nothing. All I had to do was tell my crowd to just say it. And if I say something enough times and amongst millions of people, well, you know what happens in anywhere world. It's true. So if I say the Black Doctor is the greatest, he's the greatest financial wellness coach there is. But if I say it 300 million times, oh, you're the greatest. Believe me, you're the greatest. That's the impact and power. It's also easier to persuade people to buy a product when you have a large contingency of people stating something. So one of the things that people don't understand is today, word of mouth is still king. And what is right behind word of mouth is people's ratings, the ratings that you have and reviews that you have. When we take our crowd and I say, here's another stream. You know what? I'm going to have the crowd that I have write a review about the Black Doctor. Well, when we get finished and you have over 1 million views, believe me, you're at the top of every search engine. Believe me, you're actually you're the best there is in the country if there's enough reviews, because most people don't make a decision without a review. They really don't. I mean, a lot of people depend on Kim Kardashian and her opinion, but understand this. If I wanted to buy a set of tires, would I ask Kim Kardashian which set of tires should I buy for my car?
No.
Probably not. But I would look up a review to see what's the best type of tire. But we're able to affect reviews. And you have to remember, it's reviews that make people buy from you today. So a lot of people don't realize your websites are fine. And that's all what you're saying about yourself. But the public, 89% of the public is going to look up a review. And with our crowd, we can have millions of positive reviews about you. Now, that's another aspect to look at. But you also have to remember the crowd that you have that we insert into your company, they also are a protective unit. Because, everyone knows Beyonce has the Beehive. And the Beehive is a protective group that protects her brand. You better not say nothing about her brand. Well, if these followers who are investors in your company, if someone dare defame your brand, oh, you got a problem. Because you don't want 1 million people on the airwaves writing bad reviews, bad ratings, and talking about you. That's enough to put you out of business. So the crowd has many benefits to having a crowd.
Yeah, I was talking to my daughter. She's a member of that Beehive, and from what I understand, they actually pay to be a part of it, so they can be at the front of lines to get stuff. It's almost like Amazon Prime for Beyonce,
Mm-hmm.
where they get they get special
It
deals.
is. So this is the dawn of the consumer investor is here. And that's really what's about to wake up. You're now going, because of the laws that's changed, you now, Gus, can be an investor in the products that you use. That's never happened before. Until this legislation just recently passed, you couldn't, you might use a makeup, but you couldn't be an investor in it. They only allowed the rich to invest in private companies.
And what legislation is that?
That's the Jobs Act, passed in 2012 by President Obama. And it's been improved over the years. It's went through Jobs Act Part 1, 2, 3, and 4. Even Donald Trump loved it so much that he named one of his tax laws after it was called the Tax Reform and Jobs Act. He loved it so much that he passed the Jobs Act himself 2 times while he was in office, because even Republicans and Democrats both love the Jobs Act. This is a straight moneymaker. The Jobs Act came out originally in 2012, and it allowed the everyday person to invest in private companies. But they held the Jobs Act back for 3 years until 2015, because they said that when we release this new law, it's going to revolutionize investing. So they literally held the law. They passed it in 2012 and didn't even enact it until 2015, because they said, look, this is going to create a tsunami effect of investing. So you'll find when you read in 2015, they finally released it, even though it was passed in 2012. But they said this is too incredible. This is going to change the landscape of this. And President Obama, when he signed the Jobs Act, there was something that a lot of us didn't even pay attention to. The Jobs Act was signed on June 19th, 2012.
Juneteenth.
Yes,
Juneteenth.
Exactly. And you got to remember, now it went into effect, like I said, June 19, 2015. Now there's a significance. Why would I say it went into effect June 19, 2015? That was exactly 150 years to the day that the Emancipation Proclamation, and which is called, when we talking about Juneteenth, 150 years to the day it was passed. So one law set us physically free, and the other law set us fiscally free on the same day. Both passed, you can see, by a Black president at the time. Amen. So it's a historic event, even in the Black community, as we know about the Juneteenth.
So, Johnny, how long has the Black Unicorn Factory been in effect?
Well, actually, since 2012, we didn't actually begin to initiate the unicorn process until about the beginning of about 2020. Okay. Because we studied the process of creating unicorns. See, unicorns, I just want to stop and say this. Unicorns are something that only those with hundreds of millions of dollars are capable of doing. Yeah. And so it took 8 years of study to be able to develop a program that would be able to mimic what they're doing with cash. So therefore, the Black Unicorn Factory and its strategy, and I've been doing this for, almost 30 years in terms of building businesses, but I became disenfranchised with seeing the failure. Every time I hear a person say I'm a serial entrepreneur, that means I've failed a bunch of times. But that doesn't have to be the case. It doesn't have to be. It's just that when you don't, even in the military, they arm themselves with something called a contingency plan. That, hey, look, you guys, we're going to do this. And they say, and we're going to do that. And they say, but if it doesn't work. Yeah. See, what happens is most pitch competitions I go to, when you ask them the question, you got to be you guys got to see the video. Ask them this question. What are you going to do to prevent your business from failing? And watch the look on their face. They start looking all up in the air, looking all around, because they don't have a clue on what to do. They don't have a backup plan. We're just going to sell. And without a backup plan to deal with disruption, without a backup plan to deal with failure, you're destined to fail. It was built that way. And nowadays, everyone, when you fail, they pat you on the back and, try again, just get up and try again. And it's so accepted. But anything that fails 9 out of 10 times is a broken system. It's broken. If I told you, well, hey, Gus, we're going to have a surgery on you, and there's a 90% chance you're going to die. You'd be like, what? I better get my insurance policy. Exactly.
Can I get a second opinion?
Exactly. There's a 90% chance that this procedure that we're going to do on you, you'll probably die.
So, Johnny, when can we expect the first unicorn to come out of the Black Unicorn Factory? When can we expect that?
First quarter of 22,
Okay.
because there's some beautiful things going on. That's why I said there's some beautiful things. One, China there's a trend going on. China just released their first ever small business stock exchange. Now they'd like to copy us off of us. See, the Dream Exchange came along, and when the Dream Exchange came along, even Joe said, "Hey, look, China has opened up a market too." Well, you don't realize this, but India did the same thing. They're all getting ready. They're all getting ready for this new IPO process for small businesses.
Yeah.
The thing that makes us so unique is that we're just creating unicorn. I want a unicorn, everybody, especially those in the Black community. But the thing is, when we're taking the celebrities, right? And we're taking their followers and converting them, as soon as we gather the threshold amount that we want, it's unicorn season.
Okay.
We're unicorning every. So like I said, you can come to us with 1 or 2 streams, and we're just going to inject our unicorn serum into you and make you 25 times stronger, more valuable. So our focus is not so much on your model of business or what you do. The focus is on the crowd, what the crowd does. So a lot of people think they have to be a profitable business. No, we'll make you profitable. That I have to be a certain type of business. No, we don't have to, because once we put the crowd in you, you're going to become what the crowd takes over, and you become the business that the crowd. You are a network, basically a social media marketing or broadcasting system in one sense, but you're a network marketing company in another sense. But overall, these unicorns, which are capable of making money, you're supposed to take this money that your crowd makes on a daily basis, and you are to invest that. And let me just slow down just a little bit, because I want to give you a set. Let's say today is Friday. You got a website. You got 1 million followers. Today's task that you gave them is just to tap the app 1 time. That's it. So your crowd gets a push notification. It goes out to your whole crowd. Your crowd gets it. And when the push notification comes, all it says, there's just a link. All they want you to do is tap the link. That's it. But when you tap the link, you're tapping an ad. The ad plays. It's only like 8 to 10 seconds. But you just made $1. Well, that $1 times 1 million is $1 million you made today. What are you going to do with that money? The thing is, you take that money and you buy a hotel, gas station, piece of real estate or something. But here's the thing, there's tomorrow, and they're going to tap tomorrow. And the day after that, they're going to tap. Your job is to take the money that the crowd is making for the company that you both are part of and invest it. And the more that you take that capital that they're raising and invest it, the more valuable the business becomes. So by the time that they have been with you for several months, tapping and making money, your business has been growing in various ways, because you've been making money, investing in hotel, real estate, gas stations, biotech, hospitals. You've been doing that. So the company keeps growing, but it's growing by acquisition. In today's time, I'm just trying to say this, Gus, I have to get us away from that one stream. That makes us too vulnerable. And one of the things I point out to my students, I had one of my students recently, they asked me a question. They said, Stewart, yes, what type of business should I start? And I looked at them and I said, one that makes money. You see, reason why I said that is, as a business person, you're in business to do what? Make money.
Make money.
But the thing is, we get so niched into thinking, well, I do clothing. No, you make money. Well, no, I do cars. No, you make money. As a businessman, you're supposed to have your hand in everything that makes money. Of course, not illegal things, but you know what I mean. But my thing is, don't niche yourself into thinking that and say that I do one thing. Because when people say they do, I have this business, I say, and what else you do? That first thing, and what else is that all? Well, I have a clothing store, and I said, is that all? I have a car rental place, is that all? You got to have more.
Yeah.
The more stable income streams you have, the stronger your business will be. But you have to go into it with a mindset to not be a one-trick pony. And the reason why I say one-trick pony is because when I was a kid, they had a little circus, little circus, and they used to have a pony come out, And the pony would come out and they would ask the pony, how many fingers am I holding up? And then the pony would go, tap 5 times. They say, oh, that looks, you got it. And they take the pony in the back, right? But he was a one-trick pony. A lot of people and their ideas are nothing but one-trick ponies. That's all you got. So I want to stop the one-trick pony and put all your eggs in one basket entrepreneurs. I'm after them.
I got you. Okay. So Johnny, let me ask you this. Should everybody have a business that's watching this show? Should they all be entrepreneurs?
No, because some people, being in business, you don't realize is about being a leader. And sometimes some people really, they really aren't, they really don't want to be a leader. They'd rather follow others. And there's something for them too. You see, we have the Follow Me for Equity app, and when you are not a business owner, but you can still be a business investor, that doesn't stop you there. Everyone should invest. Even Elizabeth Warren, she cautioned people about investing. She said not investing makes about as much sense as somebody cutting off their feet to save money on shoes. You see, that the whole thing that I'm trying to say is, if you don't want to be a business owner, God bless you. But there is something for you. You can be an investor. But the thing is, I've had them say, Gus, I don't have any money. You're not hearing me, Gus. I don't have any money. Money is tight around here. No problem. This is why following companies that are going to the stock market, simply following them on Facebook, is a way to invest now. See, 87% of these millennials are using social media. But if you have the time to follow someone on social media, you have the time to invest now. There's no excuse, because you can follow. How hard is it to follow somebody, Gus? That's not hard at all. All you do is click a button and I'm following you. But if I follow a company, I can earn equity. You see, we have a slogan that says, why follow for free when you can follow for equity? And so right now, what we've done is we've empowered the social media crowd to become social media investors by doing what they already do. I don't have to explain to anyone how to use Facebook. I got 7-year-old kids coming up talking about they got Facebook pages. My thing is, so therefore, this strategic way of investing by just following on social media is easy. It's something you already do. You already know how to do it. You already know how to follow on Instagram. But if you followed on Instagram and it earned you stock in a company, wow, do you know how easy that was and how inexpensive? And that's what we have to do we've made investing easy to do, just follow on social media, and affordable. It's free. You'll never invest a dime. All you'll do is, as we say, invest your time. And so this is available to those it was designed for the have-nots. Gus, a lot of people are struggling financially. We had 43 million people that were on unemployment a year ago. A lot of 41% of Black businesses failed. We're doing kind of bad. And right now, asking someone to invest in a startup is really not high on the priority list when we're trying to feed the family and pay the bills. So if somebody could come up with a way that I could invest without putting in a dime, you see, by taking money off the table and not allowing you to put money to use to invest, I've de-risked the whole investment. You'll never lose a dime with the Black Unicorn because you'll never put in any. My whole thing is, we've taken money off the equation. Now, what's the reason why you're not investing? See, I'm giving people no excuse for not investing. But if you're not going to be a business owner, at least be a business investor. But don't say that I ain't got no money and that's stopping you, because that's not stopping you anymore. All you have to do is follow me for equity now.
On that note, we're going to end today's show, and I'm sure everybody wants to keep going. But here's what I suggest you do. A lot of concepts have been put forward today that Johnny's employing, and go back and look at them, and understand them, and see how they might benefit you. Being an investor, following for equity, the power of the crowd, what's a unicorn, and why is that important to me? Why should I understand that? And how could I potentially put this in play for myself? So I encourage you to check out Black Unicorn Factory. As Johnny said, do your research and understand that what Johnny has done and is doing is saying, hey, look, we've been dealt some lemons. Let's not only make lemonade, let's make a lemonade factory. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Amen.
So it's great having you guys here. We'll see you next week on Financial Freedom Fridays. And Johnny, thanks for being with us.
Thank you. I
And
appreciate the
tell
opportunity.
Mr. Riley we appreciate his willingness to be on the show, but we're sorry that things came up and he couldn't be here. We'll catch him down the road.
Okay. I will.
All right. Take care now.
Thanks a lot. I
All right
appreciate
now.
the opportunity. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.